The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that all babies sleep on their backs to prevent sudden infant death syndrome. But new research shows too much time on the back is leading to flat spots on the head for many babies.
And you can't lose that binky in your mouth, rolling around.
A new study in the journal Pediatrics looked at 440 infants in Canada and found nearly half of 2-month-olds had the condition.
Dr. Zorba Paster is in the studio with us tonight. Welcome back.
Good pleasure to be here.
So what are we talking about with this flathead condition?
Back to sleep is important because since we started doing that, we have cut the incidence of SIDS by 50%. So it really works. But too much time with the baby on their back leads to a flat skull. Now, a flat skull, it tends to be a cosmetic issue. There's something called craniocephalopathy, which is different. That's something where a neurosurgeon actually has to make changes in the skull to make it work. But this is something which is just too much flat time on the back of the head, produces flatness, and often this occurs before the 2-month visit that the mom or dad brings the baby in.
So it's not really hurting the baby necessarily.
No, it's not necessarily hurting the baby. In fact, 80% were mild and about 15% were moderate, but there is a way that you can change it. And the answer is, it's still back to sleep with the baby, but when the baby's up, put the baby on the tummy. In other words, when baby goes to sleep, it's on the back, but when baby is awake, on the tummy, move around, begin to sort of get those crawling motions. That's what they say. Even on the side, once the baby goes back to sleep, it's still, that's what you do. But that'll make a difference. And the reality is more and more parents are beginning to notice it, and this study showed it is becoming very common.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I hear from many of my friends that their babies have this issue. Yeah. And you can normally work it out with physical therapy, can't you?
Physical therapy, working out, talking to your doctor, because there's certain things you can do with PT. The main thing is, back to sleep means when the baby is asleep, but when the baby is awake, you want to put the baby on the side here, on the front. And it's also good because when babies begin to have crawling motion, there's some evidence that that may improve their reading skills later on.
Oh,
so that crawling motion might actually be good for reading. You know, as I said, it's soft information, but it still is very, very useful.
And I saw one thing, move the crib around, so he's looking at the window.
So you're looking at the window, and maybe you're looking at something else that's interesting, or maybe you're looking at one of the little things that's above it, that's above the cradle. But the whole idea is not to be in one static position 100% of the time for that baby.
Is it purely a cosmetic thing, or?
Yes,
it is
pretty much a cosmetic thing. And I think a physician can tell the difference between when it's cosmetic and when it's not cosmetic. And if there's any question, then what you do is you send them to neurosurgery, and then they do an x-ray to see, because some of these turn out to be something else, a cranioencephalopathy, which means you actually have to do something with the skull. 99% are not. It's simply flat heads from being on the back too much. That's it.
Flat head.
That's right.
Flat head.
That's right. And you turned out well.
Well, some would argue, but thank you, Zorba.
Thanks, Zorba.
Hey, pleasure to be here.
Good to see you.